I read A Few Seconds of Radiant Filmstrip, a memoir of 7th grade by Kevin Brockmeier in 2017. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I wrote a review that is very detailed about the way I feel about Ben Stiller films. And if you watch my videos, you'll know that I talk about this in my David Sedaris review as well in Holidays on Ice. When I talked about it during that video, I didn't realize that I had written a very detailed description of it here. So this is going to connect to that one in some degree, but this is the written version of the specific way that I feel about Ben Stiller films, and evidently this is a theory that I am very deep on. My review goes like this. I have a theory about Ben Stiller films. You either like the films where he plays an everyman foil, or you like the films where he plays a wildly outrageous character. You could probably like both too. But my point for purpose here is I like the outrageous character pieces and have great difficulty with the films where he is an everyman who is constantly getting beat up in more dynamically unsettling ways. Meet the Parents, for example. In those stories, I tend to associate myself with Ben's character, and I always feel he's getting unfairly treated by the other characters and life in general. And I end up feeling pretty negative about the whole film. This theory came into play in my reading of Kevin Brockmeier here. This book is a really visceral and profound memoir, but so many times I felt myself thinking, please don't do that, or why would you make that choice? It's written so well that you feel akin to all the waves of joy and disgust Kevin is fraught with. I just couldn't get past my negative feelings of association with him, and that is likely a testament to the hyper-realistic retelling of the stress of his 7th grade experience. A nice bonus is some clever steps away from that traditional reality, allowing me to consider the memory more deeply, and probably connects with my earlier Ben Stiller metaphor of like and dislike as well. You should read it to reminisce, but be prepared. Your melancholy past is likely to be present here too. I get talking about the Ben Stiller things again. I don't mean to rehash again, but I will connect, of course, with a link to the David Sedaris place where I talk about these in detail too. I love movies like Zoolander, where he's crazy and wild and totally out there. But I do feel that way about the Ben Stiller movies where he is constantly getting beat up on. And that's how I felt about Brockmeier in this book, because he's a 7th grader constantly making bad choices or constantly having bad things happen to him. So during the reading of the book, felt associated with that. When he gets into the things that are a little bit more distant from reality, that makes this book really fun. And that's why I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's super interesting, and I think it's really interesting that right now I'm talking about it in video form when I have a 7th grader as well. My youngest son is in 7th grade. I think it's good to remember how difficult those years are. You have the movie that came out to 8th grade. Those years are just so difficult, and it's good to continue to check in with people in those ages. Going through this review now and putting it on video helps me remember that I need to check in with my 7th grader and make sure that he's comfortable with everything that's happening. So this is great if you want to connect with those ways. I know that 8th grade was a huge movie for people out by A24. It was one of those things that helped people remember how difficult and how rewarding it can be to come out of that awkward period. This book is kind of that way too. So it is called A Few Seconds of Radiant Filmstrip, a memoir of 7th grade. It's by Kevin Brockmeier, and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Till next.